Hello? Welcome back. Anyone who might be watching this. Looks like we don't have any viewers right now, which is fine. Lets me relax a little bit. But um we will obviously have this up for replay so I can take more notes. On that note, let's talk about notes for a second. This was a very busy week for me, and I did not have as much time as I was hoping to kind of get all the extra details kind of figured out. I sorted out a few things. There was a comment last time about changing the HUD, making more space for the video, for the in-game portion of it to kind of like expand it a little bit. I got a little bit more space. I think there's more room to improve, but that happened. I did my usual, like, it's better to design the crafts ahead of time and come up with a mission plan kind of thing. But I spent a lot of time whenever I was planning out missions and planning out crafts, trying to hone in on what the little nuances were of my Magna Drive, docking port drive thing to get it to behave better. I started understanding a few of the fail points of these engines, these so-called engines that I'm using. And I was really striving to kind of see if I could create a full list of potential missions to do from the contracts that I have available. And I don't think all of them are really going to be done, but there is one looming thing there that I'm going to have to deal with. Let me kind of get focused here, and we'll get going here. The looming thing is that in 3 days, I do have this transfer window to Eve, and I do have contracts that I want to complete with Eve, and I'd like to do that as quickly as possible. So at some point in this stream, I think that's going to become a thing. I have craft prepared to send to Eve that I'm comfortable with, but let's review the contracts as they are. Okay, so I've got a contract now for capturing a Class A asteroid and bringing it into orbit around Kerbal. That is not going to be something that we're going to do tonight. I have an existing contract for exploring Eve. This is a very early game flyby Eve situation. It's just something to do, but we will be ejecting craft to Eve. This is not something that will be completed on stream. That'll be for much later down the road, but we'll be setting the stage for that. I think on this stream. It's definitely going to be coming towards the end, and I'm not sure. My plan is, based off last stream, not really going to hold myself to hitting every single one of my objectives on the list. But we'll see how it goes. Rescue Hades from orbit of Kerbal. This is just a simple single Kerbal in low Earth orbit. Got to return them. I'm not going to couple that with anything else. I've got a craft set up to it's a one-seater. We'll send it up. Grab him or her. Oh, her. It's a female. We'll be bringing her back to Kerbal real quick and easy on her own craft. We have a contract to do an advanced scan of an olivine formation on Minmus. We actually got one of those now. Good news there is I already have a craft on Minmus that has that capability, so we'll just go find one and we'll do the scan. Extract 1,050 units of ore from Eve. I will be, if I get to the Eve transit situation, I will be launching a craft that's capable of doing this and sending that along with the rest of the Eve craft. But again, this is one that will not be done on stream. Ferry 2 Tourists. This is the one we missed, and I'm bitter. I'm bitter about this. I was really pissed that I went through all the trouble in last stream that I forgot to put the tourists on board and complete their contract. So I'll skip ahead here. I also have a similar contract to Ferry 6 Tourists, essentially the same thing. Land on the Mun, land on Minmus. It's a full tour of the Kerbal system, and I think that's going to be the sort of the main show for tonight. I think that's what I'm going to mainly focus on. If I get to the end of that, actually it might even be during that I have to decide. Let's do the eject craft to Eve. I mean, this is basically the main objective. I feel like once this one's done, we're done for tonight. At any rate, conduct temperature surveys of the Mun. Again, just like the Olivine formation, I already have a craft at the Mun that is capable of doing this. This looks like a temperature survey. This is a nice little mix of things. Do a temperature report at the surface at a specific location. 3 different locations in flight above and 1 in flight below, but it's very manageable. Okay? So we'll have to keep an eye on which ones are above and which ones are below. Okay. Detect comets with a sentinel. That satellite's already out there doing things, as well as the 16 asteroids endangering Kerbal. That's already out there. Recover part from the surface of the Mun. I've been attempting to put together a craft for this. I will not do this on stream, or at least this stream. I'm not sold on my designs to accomplish this one yet. The part in question happens to be the smaller version of the ISRU. It's like the ISRU like junior thingamajigger, the one that no one will ever use because it's so inefficient that it's like the only reason you'd ever use it. Gosh, I would struggle to come up with it. If you had some need to, in a very small craft, to draw ore and process it into a very small amount of fuel that you'd use potentially for fuel cells, but the electrical needs of just the ISRU and the radiators and the drill in order to do all that. Oh gosh, it just breaks my brain whether or not you'd ever even use that thing for any purpose. You might as well just upscale everything and use the big guy. Anyways, that's all the contracts on the list, and those have been broken down into objectives, which I did not really have time to review, so I might have to make modifications to that as we go on. The main focus is going to be let's rescue Hades out of low Kerbal orbit, and let's get these tourists all on board to get them on a grand tour of the Kerbal system. And in the middle of that, we will probably have to deal with transiting some vehicles to Eve. That could take a while. So I'm a little nervous about that. The fact that that's kind of maybe interrupt things. There's a potential there that I just maybe ignore. Excuse me, my external monitor just decided it was going to turn off there for a second. That was troubling. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I'm a little bit bothered by the fact that it kind of interrupts the period of time when the tourist mission is going to be taking place. Let me kind of get on with it here. So I'm thinking, depending on how the timing of everything goes here and how long we end up streaming for, I may just decide I'll accept that I won't be leaving for Eve at the most optimal time. Hey, look at that. We got the craft already up. This is just a modification of the craft we sent last time to service a few vehicles. Because since this is a one-seater, we're just going to send this to LKO to rescue Hades. Give me one moment. It feels like my laptop is struggling to breathe here and getting a little warm. Some too much stuff, cables in front of its main exhaust here. There we go. All right. Whoops. Discard. Currently planning. Oh, well, we should update this. Actually. And I'm just going to say currently. There we go. T+0. We're started at this point. Okay. MD Rescue 1. Let's make sure that nobody's on board. That's a big deal. Jeb, get out of there. We got to get Hades. And let's launch. This is the most recent craft that I kind of scrambled to design here. So hopefully we don't have any problems with this. If we do, hopefully they're entertaining problems. Right? There we go. All right. Let's see how well this one flies. It's moving. It's a start. Gear up. And just pitching up to radial up. And there we go. Looks fine. While we're on our ascent profile, I kind of thought about, how odd it is that I make so many of these craft as like planes, with sort of a traditional SSTO feel. And really, I feel like it kind of needs a little bit of explaining, and I think the best way to explain it is I'm designing a craft that's capable of going anywhere in just about any situation. And I'd like to return just about anything I launch. So giving it the ability to return to Kerbal, re-enter, and fly its way back to KSC. Like, I need flight control surfaces. So there are certain designs that I have done already where it's like, I don't ever really plan to bring this back. And in those situations, it's like, okay, well then why design the wings? If I can just get it out of the atmosphere, if it's not going to a destination that involves an atmosphere, it doesn't need something like, wings. It's kind of just extra mass. Because there were points where I was just kind of like thinking, I was like, is it weird? Is it weird that I'm making it look this way or designing it this way? And yeah, I guess part of it is like, this is the first time I've ever tried to attempt a career mode without using anything from the engines menu. So I think that's just got me in a different design philosophy, I guess, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've gotten well up out of the thicker part of the atmosphere. We're probably... Okay, Apoap's is still pushing up there, getting close to 70 kilometers. But, I guess I could have marked this as in progress. All right, let's... We could probably do this. I think there's been a few times where I've done some ascent profiles in testing, and I've done this like just weird... I'm just so used to a normal gravity turn, and that has changed so much with this effort, because when you don't have to worry about fuel cost, but you do have to worry about whether or not the vehicle is like capable of producing enough thrust to manage its current situation, then it's like, well, okay, on ascent, you might as well just get the hell out of the thicker parts of the atmosphere as fast as possible, and then just spend a whole lot of time speeding up horizontally, adding all of that lateral movement. And if you do it a little inefficiently, it's okay. You just point the craft a different direction. That's it. That's all you have to do. It manages everything. So we got a nice apoapsis height. I like 80 kilometers. I don't know why I like 80 kilometers so much, but that's my LKO for me. I just heard it in my monitor here. Apologies if I sound a little sick. I did get sick. Woo! Why are we rolling like this? This past week. Let's cut throttle here and address what might be going on here. I've learned a few other quirks. As I said, that's probably one of the biggest reasons is those outer ones are set to 200. Inner ones can be 200s. 200. Let's try now. Still torquing a little bit. Are they... Let's investigate. If these docking ports are somewhat jumbled, they don't look like they are. We're not ascending yet. Do this. Come on. Yeah, I'm not really sure why it's fighting me. But, yeah, whatever. What was I saying just before that? I cannot remember. Oh. That wasn't an O of I remembered what I was saying. I just realized I got that. I'm now ascending to a new apoapsis. It's ahead of me now. Oh, gosh. What did I do? It's not very circular, is it? Radial in a little bit. That ought to fix it. Let's fix the camera. Bring that apoapsis down. That's better. That's much more circular. Anyways, I'm just gonna forget whatever it is that I was saying because it doesn't matter. I will say this. I did mention earlier that I really like 80 kilometers for LKO. And I think the reason why I like it is because so many of these rescue missions are always around 80 kilometers or so. I'm going to use this as my point to kind of create this encounter. So I'm going to warp over here. Oh, I was talking about being sick. Yeah. I'm like past it at this point, but my sinuses are still suffering. So like if I just sound weird or I've got to shift away from the microphone to sniffle at certain points, like, yeah. Kind of gross, but I'm trying to keep up this weekly cadence. Let's see here. Okay. I'm going to go prograde. This is how I like to get encounters to happen. It's always more comfortable for me to just have them come up behind me. Even though it's slightly ahead of me, I'd rather, especially when there's no worry about fuel costs, I'd rather just go a little bit faster, let them come up behind me. How long would I have to wait for them to come up behind me? Let's see here. And then it's just like a couple orbital passes, and then we can create the encounter, it looks like. So about 3 orbital passes altogether until we have an encounter. That's really all. This is more about timing it than performing a maneuver, so to speak. All right, 1 hour, 18 minutes. Let's go ahead and do it. All right. So we've got to adjust this a little bit. Okay, let's get these outer docking port ring turned off. And then that should be... And let's bring this one down to 100. That hopefully is enough for me to, quote-unquote, perform this burn. Get rid of the maneuver node. Don't really need it now. There we go. And RCS to fine-tune that. And we come within 400 meters. Let's go do that. There's KSC. It is in darkness. We can mark that one as complete. And this one is in progress. Go back to KSP. Come on. All right. Within 2 kilometers, we just switch over at this point. Look at this in a lab. Oh, I like the haircut. Okay. Whoa, what is happening there? Okay, you're the target, and let's just kind of go this way and not let you zip right past me. Come back, rescue mission. Come back. We can do this all on EVA, right? I've done these kind of stunts before. No reason not to. Feels like I need to go down a little bit more than anything. Come on. There we go. We're moving towards it now. At a reasonable clip, so we'll just time warp. Ooh, don't. No. Alright. Looks like the door is on this side. Let's... Whoa. Hey, we're drifting. Let's just get over here. Okay. Get on board. I didn't even check to see what Hades is. Oh, they're a pilot. I don't really care for pilots. I have to be honest. Orbital retrograde. There we go. And we can kind of power up these engines. The Kraken drive. The Magna drive. Get it back to more of a circular orbit. Radial end. There we go. Alright, that's fairly circularized. Looks like Kerbal... Oh gosh, KSC, excuse me. Ended up on the night side, which is unfortunate, but we will go land right now. We won't waste any more time. Okay, we have rescued Hades. Now we need to return Hades. Retrograde. Alright. We begin our return burn. No, we want to unset as target, because I don't want that anymore. What? Action groups? That's not what I wanted to do. No. Not action groups. The landing marker. That's really what I was after. Yes, that. There we go. I need to see that. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Tell you what, these magnets might be a little slow with the overall thrust. I did the math. I want to mention that. I did the math, assuming that each docking port pair creates, on average, about like 9 kilonewtons of thrust. Each one of these little assembly, like, what would you call it? Like, groupings or whatever that I've created that consist of one of my Magna Drive engines. It produces thrust on par with about the swivel engine or like an aerospike engine, somewhere about that. So it's not like insignificant, and coupling of several of them together gets, I mean, early game, you can launch some pretty decent vehicles with 3 or 4 swivel engines if you pair them together. And I feel like that's why so many low-mass craft design work so well. Okay. Let's get oriented. There we go. Falling into the darkness. Headed to KSC. Let's get a surface relative here. All right, we are in the atmosphere. Let's now do AGL. Altitude readout. Should be fine. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. It's just time warp. Get down in there. Rip through the atmosphere. Probably have to do some fun little high G maneuvers to end up at that runway, but we'll just get through this re-entry. And then we'll figure it out. Looks like we'll go over the water and we'll kind of come back around the other way. Yep, there goes KSC right there. Here's a high G maneuver. Yeah, kind of nice. Cut throttle, gear down. I'm getting used to this now. Still going 200 meters per second. We did cut the throttle, right? Coming in a little hot. We're slowing down pretty good. Landing gear kind of helping. It's so touchy on the roll. Wow. Such a little guy. And the reaction wheel, too. Alright. But we're back. We brought back Hades. Can just let it roll towards the end of the runway while I go complete. Alright. I was considering sending... I've got to get, at some point here, serious relay networks set up around the Mun and Minmus. And every transit I do to, like, other planets, I'm going to have to, like... Since it's all going to be first transits, I've got to send those relay networks at the same time. That's going to be, like, one of the... Probably more... Oh, I guess tedious would be the best word to use. Tedious aspects of this stage of the career. All right. That we did it. Hades is recovered. That probably means I opened up a contract slot, which means there's probably a new contract available that I haven't seen. I'm a little curious to take a glance at that. 100% as always. Parts recovered, and we've got Hades on our crew now. I think at some point I'm going to probably start letting some of these pilots go, because I just have no need for pilots. I just don't. Unless they can... I mean, I guess the advantage of having those pilots for free would be for, like, EVA construction. If you wanted to bring them along, you could just set them out there while an engineer lifts heavier parts. Anyways, what do we got? Is that what we got? Conduct an observational survey. Well, this will probably be something I will... You know what? I'm going to accept it. It's not going to be part of tonight's agenda. But that's a nice one to just kind of do at some point during a flight. That's been fun the past few times I've done that. It's usually kind of fun to do that on the way back, because you can do a re-entry, do the survey, and then fly back to KSC. It's just something cool about doing it that way. All right, now we've got to get on to our big set of things here. We've got to start the tourists mission here. And I should probably rename one of these. Survey of Minmus. This isn't quite a survey. One of my MD8s needs to do scan Olivine. Not of Minmus, but on Minmus. There we go. Yeah, I think we get the tourist mission going. I can't think of anything else to really tackle right now at this point. Da, 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 da. So just for review, since I've kind of updated the HUD this stream, this like flight status ticker thing I've got down at the bottom, I originally was having that do some like fun little jokey splash text, but I feel like every now and then this whole concept needs a little bit more explaining. So I've actually got some real notes in there. You know, not only is it saying what we're currently doing at this point, but it's trying to explain exactly how I'm achieving propulsion and the rules that I'm trying to abide by at all times. That sort of thing. So everything down there this time around is actually like legitimate stuff, information for the stream. Okay, the tourist vehicle. Where do I have that? I think it's this one, MD Tourism 8. There we go. I'm not totally thrilled with the design of these engines. I've gotten a little bit better at making them a little sleeker. I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to go with this design as is. So we've got room for 8, and all we need is 6, and we're just going to roll with it. Which I guess means I could have used this to rescue Hades. That probably was my original plan, and I don't think I really processed that. I don't care. I hope you guys don't. I'm just going to roll with it. MD Tourism 8, let's get you an LKO. And let's make sure, before we do, that we actually have the tourists on board this time. Hop on board, everyone. Wait, excuse me? Why are there 8? Oh, do the math, dummy. 2 plus 6. That's why there's 8. I don't know why I thought there would be 6 total. But no, okay, 8 tourists. Do the math. I was just making the remark about doing the math about the thrust. It's like a weird little karmic alignment here going on. Anyways, I don't think there's anything else I need to do with this. This is literally about just a grand tour of the Kerbal system. Little touch and go landings probably. Although I think I've got a nice stable footprint with these landing gear. That looks like a real angry face from that side. All right, enough jibba jabba. Let's move on with it. MD Tourism 8. Let's put you out on the runway and let's get you in LKO. All right. My goodness, how many mustaches do we have on board? Let's find out. I can't go anymore. 1, 2. Just 2? Okay. They were just stacked there in the front. Let's make that smaller. All right. Let's see how well it does. I had faith in this design. Bring that nose up. Gear up. Whoa! Whoa! Hello! Hello! I am concerned. Okay. Hang on. I have to see it. There's a good chance that center of lift is right underneath, or maybe just slightly ahead of my center of thrust. Or I'm sorry, center of mast. Yep, it's just ahead. That's why it pitched up like that. Can I maybe... I just want to think for a moment whether or not it's worth maybe I could just shift the mass forward? Hopefully without not adding too much weight to it, but it just might make it more controllable. This is literally just ballast to make it fly better. Made it heavier. Let's roll with that. And oh, I don't know what I saved that to. Can we actually? I need to be more organized with these saves. Okay, there we go. Tourists better be on board. This can't let it happen again. I just thought about that. The crew loadout might not have persisted there. We'll see what happens. And hopefully we solve the flip over issue. Crew loadout is the same, right? We've got all 8. 3, 4, 5. Yes, we do. We have everybody. All the way back. SAS. Full throttle. Here we go. Take 2. Little wobbly there. That was strange. Come on, nose. Come up. There we go. And that was a lot better. Still very controllable here. There we go. Seems to be pulling a little slightly left. But I think we're good. Okay. I will say, I was saying earlier in the stream that I was a little bit concerned about the stream running long because of having to filter in transiting craft to Eve, and launching all that stuff. But there is at least one in there that I'm kind of weirdly excited about showing off the design. It's sort of silly. I'm realizing now it's kind of trivial. Ooh, we might need to get these docking ports a little bit more juice here. Hang on. Because we're not really moving up as fast as I would hoped. I need this on screen anyways. Let's go 200%. There we go. And then can I quickly grab an inner ring one? Ooh, that was one. Come on. Come on, stop. Is that one? That is one. Okay. Now I can thrust limit appropriately. Anyways, I am a little bit excited about one of the designs. Okay. Just got to get up out of the stratosphere. Though with some of these designs, I have noticed, if I really wanted to, I could do more of a gentle glide into LKO. But as I mentioned before, it's almost like why bother? I don't have any fuel that I need to reserve for anything. Nothing needs to be efficient. Struggling to find a place to put my beverage other than down my throat. Oh, we're way past the point where we can start pitching it. Okay. Let's bring that down to 100 now. Tends to behave better when I do. We'll lock in prograde relative to the orbit. And we'll just get our apoapsis up, as per usual. Why am I rolling slightly? It's forcing me to roll left. Aggravating. Alright, we're doing pretty good. Get this apoapsis up to 80 kilometers or so. Get up there and circularize, and then we're headed off to the moon. Getting close. This one feels a little slower. I didn't put any, like, craft illumination lights on this one. Come on. Go. Get to 80 kilometers. That's really all I want to do. All right, we'll just start pushing horizontally. This is going to be kind of like a continuous push thing. Oh, might as well just give it 200%. Which is creating the roll now. The anomalous Kraken roll. It almost sounds like a really good appetizer. Like if there was ever a KSP theme park, you could serve Kraken rolls. Is that something I shouldn't have, like, divulged openly? Like, maybe I could have, like, marketed that. Alright, I'm reducing thrust with the docking ports and trying to get this apoapsis back ahead of me because I just noticed it slipped behind me. We are descending, and I'd like not to be doing that. Looks like we're about to circularize too, so we might give up on 80 kilometers. What a dreadful thought! Oh my goodness! And we went right past it. It just seems to get to that orbital velocity way before I'm expecting it. All right, whatever. It's fine. We're going to the moon anyways. Let's mark the LKO as complete, and let's start transiting them to the Mun. Where is the Mun? Hello? Hello? Okay, this alarm does have a kill warp on there. We're still 3 days out. Alright, let's warp to about here. That should line us up nicely for a transit to the Mun. I have to say, I've been noticing a lot of stalkers in chat. Handful of people who like showed up, which is fine. You know, want to talk. I'm that kind of person too. Oh, I thought I had prograde lock on, and I don't. All right, spin it around. The lag. Oh my goodness! Every time I come out of map view, everything has to render. I will mention again, man, the drawback of not using engines and having to use many a docking port to generate thrust is the part count. What's strange to me, though, and I've noticed this many times, I'm building craft where the part count is not really exceeding a number that I wouldn't build with, like, a really intense, like, multi-staged rocket that's going deep into the solar system. And yet, these lag more for some reason. I think it's like the part clipping. I don't know. I've also noticed that sometimes they lag less when the pistons are extended and the docking ports are trying to engage. It's like, for whatever reason, that's when it doesn't lag. My frame rate shoots back up to normal. All this clutter on KSC. Alright, there's an encounter. We don't really have to do anything special. It can just kind of be anywhere. I'm gonna drag all of these down to 0, which, for what it's worth, each one of these Magna Drive engines is built in a way where there's an outer ring of docking ports, there's an inner ring of docking ports, and there's a central one. And I don't ever really control the central one. That's just basically me letting it down to the lowest amount of thrust, which would be on order of like maybe 15 to 20 kilonewtons of thrust. Which, as you can see, is pretty manageable. I do continue to use the RCS. That's something we forgot. Look at that. I just realized. Do I even have monopropellant on it? Missed it with this design, didn't I? I don't care. We're going to deal with it. And I also did an action group. This was not a complete design, was it? Suddenly, the panic is setting in. How much did I forget? Extend the antenna. Curb net axis. Didn't do that. I don't really care about that so much. But there's really nothing else to do. And I probably don't need to worry about this, like, RCS situation. It would have been nice for just gentle fine-tuning of some of these orbital profiles, I guess you want to call them. But we'll be fine. Okay. So that's more or less a low lunar like entry point. It looks like that's pretty... Yeah, that doesn't like have that much of an incline to it. I think we can just kind of go there and get it done. Let's go to the Mun. Oh my god, it lied to me. Did you see that? Did you see that? My goodness, it's done this to me so many times, and I always forget about it. Okay, we can fix it. I think we just do radial out. It lies to me with these engines. It lies to me about the, like, trajectory that I'm on. It just says, like, oh, you're on this path. Okay, I believe you. And then I time warp, and it's like, nope, that's not where you were. Not at all. So I'm going to point radial out here. So it just straight up lied to me. Radial out, and then probably prograde. As a matter of fact, if I set this as target... Yeah, okay. I think if I do a blend of it, like right about here... Well, that's not much. Okay. Let's just go into low power mode. And point retrograde, I guess. Before I do anything, though, I'm going to tap on the time warp and see if I can get it to admit to me that I am on that trajectory. All right. So we're going to slowly time up, warp up now. And who knows if that made it any better or made it any or didn't make a difference at all. But here we are. Dare I do an auto warp now? Looks like it's fine. Okay. Why does it say I don't have comms? Extend these antennas, come on. For real? Oh, for the love of God. Well, then, okay. We can solve this. Oh, you know what? We can't actually. I need to. This is where I need to pay attention. Hang on. Disable comms network for a second. Just for a second, please. Accept. Oh, you gotta let me do this so I can just extend these damn antennas. We'll turn it all back on. Come on. Enable comms network. Accept. Back. Why can't I extend these without? Excuse me, game? Excuse me? Like, excuse me? For real? Why? No probe control. Why would I not have probe control? What's going on? Hang on. This is incredibly frustrating. Seriously? Let's just see where the last persistent file save was. I'll deal with it. Just don't understand why I wouldn't have probe control. Like, I know I don't have relays at the MUN. But if you turn off the comms network and require signal for control, then why can't I control it? This got us back a few hours. I might have just lost my ability to revert, but we'll see how it goes. MD Tourism 8 on suborbital trajectory. That's what it say. There, now I have control. Can I extend those antennas now? Thank you. Now that those antennas are extended, let's make sure, yeah, comms network is on. I think I just left this as is. Okay. Better. Alright, what's our situation now? Focus view. Retrograde orbit. Yeah, without the relays, at the MUN, this could get hairy if I try to land anywhere where I can't, where I don't have line of sight to KSC. So we'll have to be careful about that. All right, I'm gonna quick save now. Thank you. And time warp. How have I lost probe control? That's really, like, really? Those antennas don't have the range? It's lying. For real? This is disturbing. Is it just literally that it's going out of range? Because now I'm worried. Now I'm worried that this, like, can't happen. Alright, I have that quick save. I just have to figure this out now. I'm baffled by this. This, like, never happens. How are those two antennas not enough at the moon orbit? This has been enough the entire time. Do I just not have ground stations? Of the things, every single one of these streams has had something where it's like, I was never expecting for this to be a problem. I don't have, like, I have the extra ground stations on. I didn't do anything crazy with the difficulty settings. And I feel like I have always been able to have signal at this range with these two antennas. It's like I've done so many missions like this. Not enough electrical charge. Holy shit. Are you kidding me? That's what's going on? Oh my god. That's what I forgot. And that's a big deal. Alright. Alright, I'm just going to have to admit that I did not focus on whether or not I finished this design. Let's do this then. I'm going to cheat. I'm a cheat. Which sucks, but this is just me dealing with the fact that I brain fart. Alright, so the problem is this thing doesn't have any electrical charge. It's running out. So we're going to leave it here. We're going to go back to Space Center. No wonder. I was like, how in the world am I losing communication? Like, that's just never been a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of really just the first craft that I sent, which I used as like a service mission. And I'm just going to throw a couple thermonuclear generators on there. And yeah, I'm going to use the cheat menu just to bring an engineer there to fix this. Because this is me not realizing a flaw with my design. So let's see here. Let's do this one. Because this one already has a couple of these things on here. Let's just grab another one. And we'll put them in this. Hang on. Open it. We'll put them in here. Why is it like that? Part alignment. Not a fan. X. There we go. Doot, 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 doot. There we go. That's where those sit. We'll take this one off of here. Don't need it anymore. Close that up. I don't really need air. Whoa. I need the engine. But I don't need the aero brakes, is what I'm trying to do. Close that. You gotta be kidding me. Can I have just the aero brakes? Thank you. This, touch it back. The outer ring, not 200%. There we go. Close. Alright, engineer on board. That's all we need. And we can fix this. Marsha, would you like to be the engineer that helps make this better? We'll save that again on full spec mission, and we will launch. Ah! Unbelievable. Okay. Set orbit. Admit defeat here. MD Tourism. Rendezvous. It's not in a stable orbit to rendezvous? Give me a break. Really? Okay. Well, then switch to. Oh my god. Many things. Break. Map. Switch to. Oh. Okay, while you still have electrical charge, retrograde. No, prograde, actually. Focus view. That's not considered a stable orbit. That's not a stable orbit. What's not stable about it? Hmm? Alright, fine, here. Retrograde. Just... I don't know, do what you have to be considered a stable orbit. Bunch of baloney. Oh. All right. 200% and 100%. And radial in. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Oh, okay, prograde. I guess radial in is not going to be all that's needed. Okay, that's got to be considered a stable orbit now. Tracking station. I probably could have just done Space Center. We're an hour into stream. It's beginning to feel like some of this is going to have to get cut. Magnus service. Though at the same time here, given the week I've had, there's a part of me that wants to like just see it through to the end. But I don't want to do a long stream. I really don't. Okay. Rendezvous. Now we had no problem, didn't we? Gear up. That's the target. SAS on. Point towards target. RCS. Get towards it. Time warp. Something else I could have done while addressing this. would have been to maybe, like, I could pull the RCS off of this and use it to add it to the tourism vehicle. Excuse me, hang on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't do that. Free. Excuse, what camera angle am I on? Let's go locked. Flip that over. Because that's definitely how I'm thinking about this right now. Let's go like that, belly to belly. And then let's... Oh, excuse me. I just literally whipped myself off of the game here. Holy cow. 2. Extend those antennas. Slightly drifting. And not quite belly to belly anymore. There we go. Okay. 3 should be open, and then EVA. EVA construction. Let's fix this situation. What in the world is that? Why did it suddenly just start moving? What in the world, man? Like phantom movement. Local. So now everything's like jostling about. I'm not doing that. I'm trying to get this to be in a reasonable spot. It doesn't look stupid. Whatever. God, okay. Yep, phantom movement again. Okay, great. Donk. Ridiculous. Alright, we're just going to call that done. Bored. I'm going to deal with 2 vehicles that are going to collapse into each other over and over again. Okay, so since you're here now, let's send you back to Kerbin. I know that's the correct value, but let's just... Alright. We'll recover this guy later. In the meantime, now we'll go back to Tourism 8 and continue the mission. And you know what? I started this whole thing off not really feeling like I needed to throw the resource menu up, and I would have seen that I was losing electrical charge. But here we go. We're regaining our electrical charge now. And we can go radial out and get an encounter with the Mun again. And fix this whole situation. What's going on? What now? OMG. Okay, the docking ports are all screwed up. No wonder. Okay, I have a way of fixing this. Hang on. Aim camera. Yeah, sure. Get in here. Grab this. Do that too. Let's see if we can fix this. I'm not sure what's going on. Whew, but here goes nothing. Lock. Unlock. Lock. Unlock. Are you kidding me? It broke my engines. Oh, this is going to end up changing the whole damn plan. Why do I have problems with tourists? What happened here, man? And you know, in my tests before, like during this week, locking and unlocking these pistons would reset the docking ports into a proper configuration. And they're just broken. It's like that collision just screwed them all up. So now this thing can't fly. Not reliably, anyways. Well, shit. I think I have a better solution now at this point. I'm not giving up on this, but here's what I am gonna do. As soon as I fix this, I think we're gonna negate like just about every other item on the agenda here, because this has frustrated me beyond belief here. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna rename this to broken. Unbelievable, man. And then we're gonna go to what's the problem? Why can't we? Can we quick save? Why does it say that I would be losing something here? 0 seconds. Okay. Go to Space Center. I'm literally gonna fix the design of the craft, do the same thing I just did, like a rendezvous. How can I make this work? Because I can't EVA the tourists. I'm thinking. Planning in my head right now. How can I do this? I think I have an idea. Okay. Utilities. I really hate that I have to use cheats to like get this to just like solve this problem. Otherwise this would have just been a full revert. And I probably should have done that. I am going to I'll do that. First of all, let's not forget the electricity. That would go here. 2 of them, please. There we go.
Let's see here. What would be ideal in this situation?
Let's actually no. You know what? This will work in my favor. Put monopropellant here. Put that there. Get one of these grabber units, but particularly this little guy, because that's all we need. Let's make sure that that's not too... Okay. I don't have to fight it here. Just do this. That there. This there. RCS controls. Good RCS controls. Radial. 2 here. Dude, that's not a good placement. Put them there. And over here. Radial. Put them there. Okay. So now we can RCS this thing. We can control from here. We can dock with the other one. This one will work. Right? So we can dock, transfer all of the tourists over to this working Tourism 8. And we'll just go from there. We'll also action group. Toggle antenna. And might as well do CurbNet access. But that's really all this one needs to do. CurbNet access. MD Tourism 8. You're going under Utilities. Save. Put you on the runway. And then we will force the rendezvous. We'll get ourselves all docked up. Hopefully not break it again. Otherwise, I think, if anything else goes wrong at this point, I'm just gonna bail. Just call it all just, in accordance with the week that I've had. And, yeah, we'll just wait till next week to clean up the mess. Okay. Brakes on, so we are not moving. Rendezvous with Tourism 8. Well, hang on now. I thought I changed the name, but it's going to say no. Rendezvous with that one. Because I think that's right. I just don't know why the name isn't correct. Okay. We will arm, control from here. We're going to set this as target. We're going to do SAS. Point towards the target. Brakes off, gears down. We're going to do locked. Resources on. RCS. Forward. And we'll get close before we make any adjustment about where we dock. Because it shouldn't matter, just as long as I make a clean contact. There's a part of me wants to kind of do like this. Slide out this way. And see if I can dock it butt to butt. You might even say that this is like scissoring. Let's get a good view at it. Here. There we go. Aim camera so we get a little bit closer here. RCS. Let's see that prograde thing pop up in front of me here. There it is. Looking at that nav ball trying to get here. It looks like we need to maybe go down a little bit. Alright. Let's get the lights off of it. Just making things more obnoxious. Probably lowering my frame rate. We will be able to dock. And we have not docked at a fast enough velocity, so we'll back up and get another run at it. Because nothing quite says this stream other than having more problems. Let's get it more like a meter per second. And that should be... That feels like that's a fast enough closing rate. RCS off. Are you kidding me? I was slightly to the right? Okay. Third time's a charm. Back up. Move this way. Come back in now. There we go. RCS off. Third time's a charm! Okay, and here we go. Let's close all of these things. Transfer crew. Transfer here. Transfer here. Transfer here. Transfer here. Then you close, 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 close. Transfer here. Transfer. I have to say it every time. Here. Transfer here. Transfer here. All right. So now that they are all transferred over, we can go ahead and release. And hopefully we have no issues. Disarm. And now that this, you are the broken one. Watch, wait a second. Are its docking ports better? Hold on. No, not at all. Totally messed up. Okay, so we're absolutely renaming this one. Aim camera, reset camera, rename, broken. Accept. Okay. MD Tourism 8. You will now be the spiritual successor vehicle. Let's go. Now I need to get these yeah, gonna need that. Can I get that interior ring? I got that interior ring. There we go. Now we can thrust limit. That is radial out, right? We're controlling from the wrong direction. Hold on. Control from here. Control from here. It's like, why am I pointed towards Kerbal? That doesn't make any sense. Moon. Here we come now, finally. Alright, we are doing radial out now. And we'll probably just kind of keep it right about here, because we'll want to do a blend of radial out and prograde, I think, to get an encounter with the Mun. Set as target. Oh. If you're just joining the stream, we've gone through a series of kerfuffles, botching this whole plan, as per usual. Seems to happen to me every time. But we're fixing the situation. And trying to get our tourists to the Mun. Let's go prograde now. Come on. Yep, prograde. And this time now I could do RCS. There we go. Now I'm going to time warp just a little bit and make sure that that trajectory is set, and we'll go a little faster each time. There we go. All right, let's just antennas, please, because that was the other concern last time. There we go. Warp here. Don't lie to me. There we go. All right. We can say this is complete now. Point retrograde. Let's say in progress, getting this to land on the mun. Okay, going circularizing. Going circularizing. Oh man. So part of the plan here was maybe to do this survey of the mun. And after all this business, I just don't know. I just don't know. But we do have to land. So, where shall we land? I'm thinking this crater is probably good enough. It's dayside. But the problem is it's going to be on the opposite side of Kerbal, so I don't know that we might lose probe control here. Oh, we do have a relay somewhere out there. Through what? What am I bouncing through? Magna Tracker. Wow, so it's really reaching deep to get that connection. All right, if that's the case, let's go for it. Retrograde orbit. So that relay is way out there. That's quite the bounce. Yeah. All right. Should I try to land in the canyons? I don't know. There's some other crazy biome that's like right around here, I think. I think we can land maybe right here. Feels like a comfortable place to land. I want to say, listen, the OBS is telling me there's one person watching, and I don't know if this is a spoiler for you, but there's an anomaly tucked in one of these big craters, tucked between two smaller craters, and I think it's right here. I won't say what. But it's very... If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's very cute. All right, vertical landing system. We're going to have to put you into use. And we'll try to do this my typical way of descending down to a surface. That's a nice flat spot right there. Let's see if we can get there. Maybe I can point this radial out and get it a little bit more in the middle, like right in there. Because it will allow us to slow down at the same time. I'm going to move just beyond this weird little line here. Because as I slow down, I'm going to bring it back somewhere around here. What's my spring strength at? Okay, we bumped it up. It should land pretty easily. Alright, let's slow this down now to something comfortable. aim for right about here. Can we time warp? Let's do physics warp. Because I think we're pretty good. I don't want to waste too much time on this descent. Just want to get down there. We still have this all at a pretty... This produces a pretty healthy thrust-to-weight ratio, so we can slow down pretty good. Definitely the scariest part about doing this without engines is Kerbal Engineer reads out absolutely no suicide burn time. So I just have to guess. I'm going to slow this way down. I'm going to aim camera right down here because I really want to see the bottom of the vehicle as it approaches the surface. Okay, we're going to... Uh-oh. Radial outlock now. We're really going to try to soften this now. There we go. Hey, those springs did great, and that's a nice, comfortable landing. Okay, so we're here. The tourists have arrived at and landed on the Mun. Should we do the survey of the Mun? How deep into the stream are we? An hour and 30? It would make this more interesting, but I can always wait on it. I don't have to do it this stream. So that survey, how I would do it, just for the record, I have this Magna Drive 8, one of my earlier versions of a sort of a science vehicle. I just launched that, take this over here. Does it say? Hey, listen, there's one. It says it's telling me there's one person in chat. Do you want me to do this? You got like 30 seconds to say yes or no. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. Otherwise, what's next on the docket? Tourism goes to Minmus. So this is what's going to be a challenge. This tourism craft going to Minmus means we're going to be spending enough time where we're going to have to get some other craft into LKO for the Eve transit. And I've planned that all out. Thanks. Okay, so yeah, I'm debating whether or not I should... How much of this I should do tonight. So it's either I do these like extra missions at the moon and Minmus, and I forego launching craft that need to go to Eve, or I launch the craft that need to go to Eve and I forego these missions. You know what? I think I'm going to flip my decision. I'm going to ignore launching everything for Eve on this stream, and I'm just going to do these missions that are here, local. So, okay. We'll switch to Magna Drive 8 over here, and we'll go do this survey on the moon. Okay. Get my bearings here. Yep. We're going to have to point ourselves south. And we're pointed north, so it's going to be kind of flipping over my back here. Let's get these docking port parts pinned up here so that I can kind of thrust limit as we do. Let's essentially go full throttle here. And we should be able to button up. Lights, just so I can see here. Full throttle, brakes off. Hopefully the reaction wheel is running. It is not. Let's turn it on. There we go. Straight up. And then let's go south. There we go. Gear. Turn the lights off. All right. While that's getting moving, let's just... Oh, that's the one fly below. So let's activate navigation for that. And fly in that direction. Flip it over. Looks like we're going to need to go a little to the east. There we go. Let's just get moving, get moving. Prograde. We got to keep my apoapsis pretty low as I get there. The fun part about this is, let's just make sure we're not going to collide with any terrain. Yeah. The fun part about this, without any fuel needs, is I can just kind of literally shoot this thing at each one of these points and not try to do them on like several orbital passes. All right, little prograde. All right, we're in orbit, so to speak. It's a very low orbit. Can we get free camera view? There we go. All right, so we'll just, however much we can time warp, get close to it. It's going to be a temperature scan. And so I think this first one, I just need to be below 9.5 kilometers. IIRC. I'm not sure which one of these is at the surface. I'll have to figure that out. Looks like we're a little off course. Let's correct that. I don't want to do too much prograde. That would be a bad idea. Let's do orbital. That feels like I'm on target now. Where's prograde? Close enough. We'll probably get there. Gotta stay below 9.5 though. We're closing in. I have to point retrograde here and slow down. Level out them wings. Come on, tell me I'm going to get close enough. Let's slow down. Okay, we are. 0. There we go. Got it. Oh, there's some things here. Reset, 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 reset. Keep that one just for funsies. Collect. All right, what's the next one? On the surface. All right. Let's make that the thing, and then we'll do retrograde. Okay, and that should be anti-normal. And then we have to go back to that one above. Interesting series of objectives here. All right. I might as well say this is in progress. I don't know why I'm not. Retrograde. All right, let's just get closer. Because I don't want to accidentally skim across the ground here earlier than expected. Okay, so we're going to land and do that one, and then we're going to hop back up and get these ones. and then we'll be done. Vertical landing system. Might as well. I'm like worried about time warping, but it looks like we're in the clear here, so I'm gonna get a little closer. Let's start slowing down though. Slow down. Whew. Last thing I need to do is like accidentally crash. Do it relative to surface. Let's give it a little extra kick in the pants. Might have to go radial out. I might have to. This is a little coming in a little hot. I think we're okay though. No, we're okay. Okay. All right, with that, let's just go radial out for a second. This feels very slopey. I'm a little worried that it'll tip over. If it do, we get these gears out. Slow down. Can we get AGL? How high are we? A few hundred meters? Might need to slow down a little less than that. Unbelievable. I'm just outside 500 meters. I really should have adjusted. Oh no, I'm landing on a rock. Okay, let's rotate. Lights on. And put it down on those wheels. Vertical landing system come up. Reaction control reel off, and then we should just be able to kind of point towards this thing here. Give it a nice little cuddly boost. Start driving in that direction. Only have to go a few more meters here, and then we should be in range. Cut the engines. Put on the brakes. Run the experiment. Oh! Oh my goodness. Okay. Keep. Hey, let's collect all of that then. Alright. 1, 2. Keep the brakes on. Do I got a scientist? EVA? Oh god, the landing thing. Take a surface sample. Cool! Oh, can't do the EVA science. Oh, I don't need to though. Get that landing marker off. Store the experiments. And then restore. Can I reach it? I can't. Let go. Please let me walk. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Thank you. Restore. Come back here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No! Okay. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Okay, cool. Can you grab? That's what I want you to do. Grab and board. All right. What's going on in chat? Landing gear Kraken drives. Riding a wave of glitches. You know, I haven't tried one of those yet. Well, that's actually not quite true. I have tried them. They didn't go very successfully, and it didn't really get any propulsion. But I don't think I built one properly. But this just seems so controllable, so I'm very much attracted to it. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that when I'm basically using magnets. But yeah, it just feels like the most tameable Kraken drive. Okay. So we can button up. Yeah, nice to grab some science. We'll have to figure out a way to well, figure out a way. I can bring it back at some point. Okay, what's next? We basically just need to go straight up. Okay. If I do my reaction control wheel back on, I should just be able to kind of pitch it straight up here and stand it up. There we go. Those gears back down, and we'll just go. Goodbye. Get an apoapsis of 10 kilometers and see what happens. I guess we could point more towards it. All right. So what's the requirement here? Above 10.7. Okay. And then we need to go west, it looks like. So I might as well point myself west and wait for that to happen. Ooh, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, 5. Okay, so once I get up to... Is that the one I want to do first, though? Yeah, I might as well. Because it's closest. Activate navigation. We'll be fine. See, now you're encouraging me to not even try landing strut drives. I basically just learned. It's almost embarrassing the amount of hours I have in this game. I'm just really learning about this style Kraken drive. Oh, can we do it now? We did. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yeah, but yeah, just learning about, you know, the feasibility of this, and I was like, you know what, that sounds interesting, and I gave it a shot. Started coming up with some designs I was happy with. And then started thinking, I was like, can I go through an entire career mode without ever using engines? That was the whole premise of this, and I thought, you know what? Let's stream this. Let's see how it goes. So the past few weeks I've just been doing this. Building engines out of Kraken drives using docking ports. That's got to be enough, right? Close to it. I don't really want to get going too fast because I'm going to need to turn around and go to the other one. So we'll just try to manage altitude here. It sounds like a true Kraken drive. Like it literally feels like you're taming a beast. Oh, wait, what? I'm entering it already? Oh, I did not realize I was that close. Okay, done. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to keep any of this time. Go back this way. Retrograde like that. Because I want to maintain my altitude a little bit. Yeah. Maintain the altitude, but we got to reverse direction. Roll. Back that way. Hi, Kerbal. Oh, I truly do love doing this, though, because it's just the ridiculousness of like how I'm flying these missions. You would never, ever, ever do this if you were spending the fuel. Like, your mission would be over before you even thought of it. Ridiculous. Like, you truly have to be in a situation where you could refuel like crazy. Alright, we reversed direction, and now we're headed towards the other target, and then the survey will be done, and then we can continue with Tourism 8 and send it off to Minmus. I feel like we've gotten a little bit of altitude here that we don't really need. All right. Well, okay. I'll blend in radial out, I guess. And then prograde. Just get there. Yeah. That should be close enough. Let's come out of map view for it. Be dramatic about it. Level off them wings. Prograde. And we should be coming within range here shortly. There we go. 0. And we collected the entire survey. Beautiful. Let's go into orbit. And we'll leave this in orbit. We'll go back to Tourism 8 and continue the mission. There we go. Okay. This stays here. Switch back here. Yeah, see, that's my one rule, at least going through this career, just for funsies, that I'm not allowing myself to use any engines. So the fine tuning with chemical burn, like with typical like LOX engines, isn't allowable for me. What I have allowed is just basically monopropellant and RCS thrusters for that kind of fine tuning. Okay. I'm really sick of this thing being labeled as a ship. I make these things all as planes for a reason. Can we make it a plane? Not sure how this one ended up as a ship. Anyways, probably because I started with these when I built it. All right. I think we just... Well, let's get a hold of these docking ports again. It's not really... I didn't want to pin it. I wanted to aim camera. And... yeah. We definitely need to adjust the thrust limit here. That should be manageable. Now we launch and go east. All right, tourists, we continue. Let's get that camera back. What's going on here? Prograde. How's our apoapsis? Coming up past 5 kilometers. Seems wobbly this time around. I don't know why. Okay. Can we accelerate yet? We cannot. Let's do physics warp. How about now? There we go. Let's get up to our apoapsis. Oh. Let's go into orbit. Oh, full throttle. Come on. Come on. Come on. Orbit. Let's go. Oh, it's lagging. It don't like me. There we go. Nice circular low orbit. Little bit wonky, though. Let's go normal. Let's level that off a little bit. Normal relative to the orbit, my guy. There we go. Better. Less than 1 degree of inclination. Less than half degree inclination. That's nice. Hello, Kenyans. Nice to be sailing directly over you. Minmus, where is you? Is that you? Okay. So the question is, what's the best way to get to you, Minmus? Is it like this? Should I go like that? And then maybe here. Well, you know what? I'm like kind of tempted to do it here. Make you target so I can actually see. Nope, did I go too far? There it is. What's going on? Ah, just a little bit less oomph. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, we're on our way to Minmus. A rough approximation. Okay, so what's the timeline here? This is 28 minutes. We eject in 4 hours. Do a burn in 1 day. And we arrive in 20 days. Oh, no. That's so far removed from my... Oh, I've got this Eve transfer window, and I just don't feel like I can ignore it for 20 days. I might have to launch these craft. Yeah, it's going to be in a day. I'm going to have to do this. This is going to be a long stream again. Oh, well. We'll roll with it. Or maybe I just, I don't know. Maybe I give myself a 3-hour time limit. And if I don't get to everything tonight, then we'll just pick it up next week. So we'll give myself another hour. Hello, Felix. Welcome. You don't understand any of this. Okay, so let me explain here. First thing, what I've got going down at the bottom here with the flight status tries to explain everything. Essentially, I'm not allowing myself to use any parts from the engine menu. Engines are completely off the table. So the only way I'm achieving propulsion is by using a Kraken drive. And my Kraken drive of choice is... let me complete this and stay in progress here. My Kraken drive of choice is a docking port drive, which I'm calling Magna drive. That's basically the long and short of it. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna proceed with getting this thing on its way. And then, I don't know, maybe before... I think I'll do this like, mid-course correction burn to get the encounter with Minmus, and then I'll go launch all of my Eve craft. I want to say it's like 5 or 6 of them that I need to launch. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Sometimes it takes a little while, though. All right, I think I can get 200 meters per second isn't much, so we can get pretty close to this maneuver node, I think. There we go. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was something I kind of threw together, I want to say, a couple weeks ago. Not the first stream, but the second stream, I had it ready to go. Yeah, it literally just came out of this, like, I need to have a plan before I start these streams. And I want it to be kind of, like, obvious what's going on as much as I can. Like, as much explanation on screen that I don't have to say all the time, I guess. Not that I don't mind explaining, but, like, if I ever miss some chats, just wanted something on screen. Okay. So 1 day, 3 hours. Well, how does that compare to my transfer window? Basically, I should set an alarm to come back to this, and I should start launching those craft now. So I'm going to set an alarm for MD Tourism, and we're going to leave these tourists on their way. Because we got to get them to Minmus. And in the meantime, we got to launch some craft to go to Eve, because I'm going to have to admit it. I got to do it. Here I was saying I was going to do one or the other, and I'm going to do both. All right, so they're in transit. We're not going to do this yet. I'm not going to land there first. Yeah. This is all going to happen later, so we'll come back to it. Let's get this guy into LKO. That's going to be the first one we launch. Okay. So one of my contracts is to harvest, I think it's 1,050 units of ore from the surface of Eve. So I've got a craft that's set up that can pull that off. It might need a little bit of adjustment before I launch it. Because I think to have it land nicely and conveniently, I'm going to put some chutes on it. So let me get here. Utilities, resource, this guy. And give a brief rundown here. Open this bay up. So we've got a drill here and some ore containment. Yeah, that's pretty much it. This drill kind of drops down a little bit at an angle, and then it can do harvesting that. Whoa, let's not break it into pieces now. Chill out. There we go. Yeah, then it's got everything it needs. Deciding to power it with solar panels rather than anything else. But I do have some thermonuclear generators. I want to make sure I have that. Antennas. This should have been well planned out. There's the magna drives. We should be good with this one. I just don't want to get too punchy and throw this thing like straight onto the runway and leave when I might forget something. But I think all of these Eve ones I've really thought through. So, famous last words. Let's put this on the runway and get it into Delco, because I don't want to waste too much time. Will it let me edit this? It's not going to let me edit this while it's loading. Because I don't want this to interrupt me now with an alarm message. Uh-oh. It's giving me a little spinning cursor like it's going to crash on me. How dare I click on it during loading? There we go. Okay. SAS on. We'll turn brakes on. We'll edit this alarm. Don't bother me. We are handling it now. Okay. I said SAS on. Brakes off. Full throttle. Here we go. Gear up. Point straight up and get out of that thick part of the atmosphere. Okay. Yeah, this one's moving. Hopefully I can just figure out like a quick series of steps here to just get this encounter with Eve. That's really the only thing I'm worried about taking a while. 2G acceleration. There's been a few of these that I've brought in on re-entry, and I do the most Jebediah maneuver kind of stuff, like just invert flips coming into the runway, and it's easily pulling like 10, 15G. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Drifting a little bit south here for some reason. Not sure why. Don't really care too much. I think now we can do this. Suggest a prograde orbit. Orbital reference frame, lock in prograde. And let's get a look at what I set these things up. Oh, aim camera. I keep pinning it, and I mean to aim camera. Whoa. Hello. There you are. 200%. That's why it's getting a little bit finicky with me. Basically setting it to max. That's not an interior one. Where's an interior one? Oh, whatever. Put that at 100%. Let me see if I can get at it this way. Aim camera. There we go. Grab that. That's an interior one. Let's get this inclination correct. Come on. Definitely did more of a like actual gravity turn this time. Hello. Don't fight me too much. Let's just go. Meant to get a little bit higher before I did this. Come on. Come on. It's doing some strange roll situation here. It's fighting me. Kraken's attacking a little bit. Come on. Apoapsis. Let's get it up there. At least I won't have to spend too much time going into circularization. Come on. There we go. We can cut throttle. Let's see if we can give those docking ports a refresh. Lock and unlock. Prograde. Time warp. Get up to that apoapsis and let's circularize. Still a strange roll, and I'm not liking that. Whatever. It's not like I can't manage it. It's just tapping roll right a little bit. That seems to be quieting down. I think we're good now. Okay. I would like to circularize fairly accurately here. Come on. Full throttle. It keeps like missing that. Alright, and cut. There. 83, 81. That's nice. Okay. Put this. This is going to be my sort of template. Let's figure out how this will work. Eject angle. Okay. It saith I should do it here. And it saith how much should I do here. Basically about 2973. Almost entirely prograde. 2973. Enter. How close does that get me to an encounter with Eve? Close the alarm details. Oh boy. Okay. Set as target. Ooh. Hey, that's close enough, man. What happens if I kind of fine-tune that a little bit? Hey. Interface of game. Am I making it better or worse? I'm making it worse. Can I get an encounter just like this? It's definitely getting better. It's close enough where I could just do a mid-course correction and get the encounter exactly how I want it. This has to be... Come on. There we go. There's the encounter. Okay, focus view. What are we at to? 3095? Let's remember that number so far. That feels pretty good. 3095. How much time do I want to allot to do that burn? Oh, what a mess. Why did I map all these anomalies? I'm going to guess this is going to take probably about 2 minutes. So we can probably get to within 1 minute of the burn of the maneuver node. Just taking a guess at it this time. We'll go with a roughly 2 minute burn time. It's wobbling quite a bit. All right, we'll see how it goes. The phantom torque, yeah. It just happens every now and then. I've really been trying to tweak every new version of it to see if I can just get it to play nice. Yeah, I feel like a lot of it has had to do with just the fairing housing that I'm putting around it, because it seems like it plays a lot better if I don't put it in a fairing, which is making me question why am I putting it in a fairing in the first place, but I am. It looks nicer. It's more of a mystery. How is it producing thrust? All right, that a minute passed and we're only a quarter of the way through, so it seems like it's probably more of a 4-minute burn than it is 2 minute. I'm going to kind of rotate it around since we're passing the prograde vector. I kind of want to keep it pointed prograde. Then we'll just roll with it. See how it does. Mid-course correction burns. They save you. Let's extend those antennas. This is the part that just always feels like it drags. It should be a really exciting moment. Ejecting from the Kerbal system and heading off to another planet. And it's like, okay, I hit Z. Now what? All right, I'm going to hold myself to another half hour on the stream. We'll end it there. Whatever does not get completed, I will make a plan for next week and complete it next week. Let me zoom out. How are we doing? Making progress. I cannot wait until I can get so much more of this orbital clutter out of the way. All right, just a little bit more. So it say, anyways. Feels like it's going to be more than what the burn advertised. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. I'll have to think about that. Maybe design a new version of it. We're just going to keep this prograde. I'm going to keep the maneuver up just so I can gauge how close I am to potentially having the encounter. So far, burn time looks like it's at 4.5 minutes. A lot longer than I estimated. It's kind of scaring me, actually. I'm going to stop it. Get rid of this burn. I'm a little worried that... Ugh, excuse me. Maybe I need to get this to come back down. No. No. Oh my god. You know, weird tickle in my throat. Yeah. Let's try that. That's moving the approach back. Okay, hang on. Let's try to figure this out. Radial out, I guess, again. Let's try this. Come on. Come on, we can do it. It just has to get close enough. I cut throttle. I'm waiting. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm going to fix this with a mid-course correction. Can't believe I'm swinging out to such a high apoapsis and coming back in. And maneuver. Can I do this? Like that. Come on. There we go. Focus view. Come on, stop lagging. Maneuver. Da, 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 da. Come on, let me tug at this. Come on. There we go. Whoop. Prograde. Normal. Okay. Okay. Let's put this in a polar orbit. I want to be able to land anywhere. So go down a little bit, retrograde a little bit. Ooh, need to go a little bit more fine-tune here. That seems pretty spicy. Yeah. 100 kilometers. All right. Course plotted. Might as well add this one here. Come on. Oh, is it just not working because I'm not doing that? Come on, you're acting like this is going to be a difficult burn. What's the del V for this? This is going to be insane. $5,000 kilometers. Oh, or 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 meters per second. Holy shit. Okay, we'll deal with it. We can, because it's infinite del V. All right, well, that's one on the way. What an ejection. It's just straight out. Oh, boy. Okay, well, let's see how many more of these we can do, and then we'll end stream. A little bit unfortunate. Okay. Space Center. Oh, I didn't keep up with this. Complete and transit to Eve complete. Let's launch a... Well, you know what? Actually, I don't want to do this yet. I'll leave it as in progress. But, let's get some comms up in the air. Do small comms. Try and remember, it was like 3,100 meters per second for the ejection burn. This definitely isn't usually the transfer window that I take advantage of. I think I planned this one with, like, try to get there as soon as possible and have to do only prograde-ish burns. At least for ejection. Okay. I said small comms. So I'm going to look in my my utilities comms folder. Short range or small range comms. This is the vehicle. So we got 3 short range comm satellites that go in equatorial orbit and enough thrust to get there. Let's launch it. Ugh, these load times. My goodness, come on. I swear it gets worse later in a career mode when you have so many craft, like, active in different places. It just starts to affect load times. Alright, SAS on, full throttle, let's go. Pitch up. Nose up, gear up, point up. Everything up. And away we go. Is there a direction I can point that optimizes frame rate? Oh, hey, my man. I would ask where on holiday if you're willing to share, but hope you're having a good time. Glad to see you back in the stream. It's been characteristically a wild one. I don't know that I'm getting to everything I want to get to tonight. Suggest that prograde orbit, please. Switch to orbital reference frame. Lock in prograde. And let's see if we can get a handle on. Yeah, so if you're telling me that I don't need this many docking ports to achieve the same amount of thrust, that would be nice. There we go. There's the inner ring. I'm going to want to double check to make sure I extended. Oh, okay. I want to double check to make sure I extended the antennas on the last craft I just sent. All right, that apoapsis got to 80 kilometers. Let's cut throttle. Time warp, get out of the atmosphere, get up to that apoapsis. Let's circularize, and let's be on our way to Eve. Out of the atmosphere? Let's just point along that horizon and go. Don't fight me now. No phantom pulls. Feels like there's a phantom pitch. There we go. Can we go 200% without issue? We can. This one's... There we go. Keep that apoapsis ahead of me, please. Why are we lagging? We don't need to lag. Let's give it a little breather. Full throttle again, please. There we go. Almost in orbit. Almost in orbit. Come on. There we go. Not very clean, but I think a little radial in ought to fix it. Let's see here. Is that Apoapsis ahead of me? It is. We'll tap on the gas going that way. There we go. Okay. Eject angle. Reveal yourself. And then, if I remember correctly, we can use the eject angle, and we just need to do, what, like 31.15, something like that? Seemed to work last time. Fling ourselves out that direction. Set Eve as target. Hello. All right. What's going to help it? A little bit of prograde? Nope. A little bit of retrograde. A little bit less. Interesting. This one's a little bit less. Which means it's going to arrive later. Whoop. Hello. That's about the closest. Oop. Radial. There's the encounter. There it is. Wow, interesting. This one's considerably less thrust. Much closer to what it advertised. Alright, we'll just roll with this. And the burn is coming up here in 6 minutes. Oh, with it being a little less thrust, I'm going to say I start it 2 minutes out from the maneuver node. There we go. Go. It's a very different vehicle, though. Sweeping through it. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna pause this burn. Looks like we're accelerating a lot faster on this craft. Get to a minute, and then I'll do the rest. All right, there we go. Bless it with your holy wiggle. Oh, I still want to like slow down. I'm pausing for a minute here because it's going much faster than I expected. Give it some breathing room. All right, I'll catch you later, my guy. So now I'm T plus 20 seconds and counting. Hopefully this went well. Oh, wait, I want to be in my map mode still. Let's zoom out. Focus view. All right. It's say I'm getting close. It's say, but do it mean? How much do it mean? All right, cut. Maybe a little more. I don't know. Where are we at? Hold on. Which direction is going to make this better? A little bit more prograde. Okay. So we'll lock it prograde. And there we go. There's an encounter. Small comms. This one's going to Eve. That was the plan, right? Yeah, let me rename this one so I know that which one's which. I don't know why I put small, like, direct antennas on this one. Although it is a vehicle that I hope that I can send back. Rename vessel. Small comms. Going to Eve. That's the plan. I like to keep track of that kind of stuff. Okay, it's going to go equatorial orbit. So we can plan a mid-course correction burn. I'm going to have to set up alarms for all of this stuff. I didn't do that with the last one. Add maneuver. Okay. Let's try coming in at a prograde orbit. Little bit less than that. Oh. It shifted on me. That's not exactly the orbital inclination I was hoping for, but let's see here. I think I want to bring this in pretty close to Kerbin. I'm sorry, Eve. And then I'm gonna, because it should be more efficient, like less time spent getting captured if I do this capture burn right next to here. And then let's leave this out at like, I don't know, 500 kilometers? What feels natural for a good relay network? At least 1 million. Yeah, we could do 1 million. That's a nice number. And then I can do orbital inclination adjustments. 1,000,000 meters. 1,000 kilometers. That should be good. Okay, that's done. That's 2 away. Small comms. So next we can do that science one. But before I do that, where was that last one that we just flung out? You're where? You. I want to make sure you have your antennas open. You do. Okay. All good. All right. Maneuver alarm kajigger. Make sure you have that. Small comms. Switch back to you. Let's make sure you have an alarm for your mid-course correction. Yeah, that's in progress. Hang on. Got super distracted. Okay. Make sure you have an alarm. And then back to Space Center. Where are we at? Another half hour. Might cut that down to 15. Yeah. Yeah, we'll bring this stream to an end at 2 a.m. local for me. So I just agreed to doing the science craft. Load that up. Which one is that then? Did I call it? I called it Magnus Science. Of course I did. All right. All right, for my science missions, I generally like to send always... I like these ones loaded up with some Kerbals. A scientist and engineer. Harbart and Johnny, you are going to Eve. Okay. And since they're scientists... Wait, which one's which? Is Johnny the engineer or is Johnny the scientist? Johnny is the engineer. Okay. Johnny, engineers should have repair kits. And Harbart, scientists, should have EVA science. That's how I feel about that. I don't think I have adjusted this one as far as its like Magna Drive engine. So hopefully it behaves well. This is more of an earlier model. But this should be fully equipped. Let's... Well, I'll rename it once I get on the launch pad. Launch pad, runway. All right. SAS on, full throttle. Away they go. Johnny and Harbart. Pitch up, gear up, nose up, point up, go up. This started out being like one of the aspects of launching these craft that seemed the most silly and exciting. Just this ridiculousness of flying like a plane but then just going straight up like a rocket and not doing a gravity turn. It's so mundane to me now. It's just like, this is just how you do it. This is completely normal rocket science. Can't you tell? There we go. Cut into that southward drift there a little bit. This one's definitely a little slower. I wonder why. Why are you a little bit slower? You're slow and these things are at max thrust. Interesting. Suggest prograde? Oh, there's my comet. Can you see it in here? Is that even visible on stream? There's a very large comet that at one of these points within this career I hope to be able to encounter. I did accept a contract to get a Kerbal there. We'll see. In thrust retrust. I might have to steal that. That might be something that becomes part of the stream. Maybe when I reincorporate my silly flight status messages, I'll add that to the list. Come on. Let's get this orbital inclination a little bit flatter. All right, apoapsis is up there. Okay. I think I can point it like this now and continue that full throttle. Since we're in space, let's get those antennas open. Yeah, I can barely see it. I think it's right here. And I can't even focus on like keeping it in view. Yeah, I think that's it. It's right here. Okay, it looks like that apoapsis drifted behind me here. There we go. Now it's ahead of me. Prograde. We are almost there. Almost at orbital velocity. Let's go. Here we go. Cut throttle. Woo! Little too much. Little too much. Okay. But it's in orbit nonetheless, so that's in orbit complete. Small comms. Oh, I wrapped these all in a single objective. Eject all to Eve system craft. Let's call that in progress. It is happening. Okay. All right. Let's focus. Show eject angle. Put a maneuver there. Let's see here. Okay, 2760 I think basically worked last time. 2760 prograde. The hit. Okay, yeah, we have a maneuver. Close alarm details. Let's zoom out. Let's see if we get an encounter with Eve. Almost. Focus view. Alright. What does it need more of? Feels like prograde. Feels and looks like prograde to me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Radial in, maybe? Hello, come on. There it is. Radial in helping much more. Let's try to make it... Oh, stop. Those autosaves, man. It's like when that hits, it lags the most. Okay. Okay, 2800. This one seems... It's really hard to gauge how much faster this one is accelerating. Or slower it's accelerating compared to the last one. I'm just going to guess get 2 minutes to node and try it again. No, I'll split the difference. 1.5 minutes. Okay, coming up on 1:30. Point towards this thing. We're at full throttle, and we'll see how well it works. Go. No phantom pull, it seems. Alright, does it take 1:30 to do half of this maneuver? I guess I could open up these cargo bays. This is one of the prettier cargo bays. I like that the piston has been... Oh, you know what I think I didn't do with this one? Yeah, no auto strut grandparent part. That's why this one's different. I'm surprised it doesn't have a phantom pull, because look at how uneven these docking ports are. Joseph, I will definitely have to take your advice on potential redesign of this and see how well it play. All right, 20 seconds until we should be hopefully halfway through the burn. Maybe we're close to that. Might have guesstimated this a little bit better than the last one. It's really steady, though. This is the most steady acceleration any of these has had. This is close enough. That's almost half of the maneuver, like, gone through. And we just passed through T-0. Oh, I said I was going to rename this one. Trying to adopt, like, consistency with my craft naming. MD Science. And this one's going to Eve. Some of the stuff I want to send to Gilly, but it's mostly just going to be the relay networks. This craft, if it works properly in Eve, should be able to escape the atmosphere and fly to Gilly, which is impressive in its own right. Okay, so as soon as we get this one set up with a clean transit to Eve and all of its mid-course correction burns and whatnot, I am going to end the stream. Just don't want to carry on too long. I'll try to create a nice comprehensive list of what didn't get done in this stream and take care of it next week. Same time, same place. Let's get focus view on here real quick. This seems pretty clean. Okay, I'm going to cut throttle because it says that was it. All right. So we don't have the encounter. No, that's not helping. Radial out. Does radial out make it better? Radial out does make it better. Let's do radial out. There we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Come back to me. There we go. Let's go radial in. Let's see if we can fine-tune this one. Ooh. All right. Let me scroll, man. Damn. Damn. Switching back and forth between map view and everything is brutal. Okay, radial out. That is the correct direction, right? Oh, RCS. You are my friend. Okay. Well, let's not do any normal anti-normal here. Because that seems kind of pointless. Not the optimal place to do it. I do not know why. Well, let's fix this. Because we will want to use that full throttle. Let's zoom out. Let's zoom out, thank you. And I don't know. Somewhere around here seems fine. Did it really just do that? Wait a second. Did it just lie to me? No, it didn't. Okay, good. I would hate for all these things to lie to me about what my actual trajectory is. Ooh, you are very responsive. Okay. I feel like it's just worth it doing another polar orbital insertion here. Just because I want to be able to go anywhere. Depends on what contracts I end up getting as I get there. Okay, that's probably extreme. Let's not do that. That's okay. And then add a maneuver node here. Retrograde. These are going to be intense capture burns, man. Intense. Okay. So, a very tiny tap on the gas will get that mid-course correction burn done. That's 3 craft away. Small comms, a science vessel, and way out there is the drill. The only other things I want to send are basically small comms to Gilly, and then Gilly's also going to get what I'm going to call medium range comms, which includes an orbital survey scanner, like the resource survey scanner, as will Eve. But Eve will also get one of the big relays. That'll be sort of the interplanetary relay to complete the whole orbital, or the relay network to support everything. So that's just 2 more craft to send? And then I'll have to figure out and fix everything with the tourism thing on the next stream. But yeah, I think that's it. Did I set the alarm? Let's make sure I set the alarm here. MD Science. Did I send it? And it's in 200 days? Where are we at here? 2. I did not set this alarm. There it is. Okay. Yeah. Let's just go to Space Center. Yeah, they usually don't. In my experience, like just the pacing of how I send them out, and then when I do, I just kind of randomize the mid-course correction burns, like even just in like a normal career using real engines. I just kind of find like literally a midpoint within the orbital path between, like just on its way in. And it just feels like I do enough of the burns a little bit randomized that they kind of come in within hours or days of each other, so they usually don't overlap. And if I do spot them in my like alarm list as being really close together, I'll do something with one of the craft to like try to get it to like not line up too much. Like do a big radial out burn, but then prograde burn or something like that, so that it just slows one craft down or speeds the other one up, so that there's a little bit of an offset. But yeah, generally speaking, I usually haven't had that problem. It's the management of all of these craft as they get sent out. It's usually kind of a nightmare. All right, well, anyways, thanks for joining me, Joseph. That was fun. Thank you for anyone else who joined me and who was watching in replay. If you guys are interested in catching me next week, as we kind of try to complete all this, that'd be super duper. Hopefully we can have a stream where I don't have issues. That's my goal for next stream, is get through it without any serious problems with craft. And hopefully, I'm a little disappointed this time, just because I didn't get to do a real re-entry with anything. Although no, I did with the very first craft, but that was like, it was kind of dramatic. It's just unfortunate it didn't happen at the end of the stream. I've been enjoying re-entries at the end of the stream. But yeah, thanks again. Hopefully I'll catch some of you guys next week. Bye.